Me mamwajo.
Yeah.
Ekurole. Nakangonzi. Me mama kwaba. Welcome to the Institute of African Studies. My name is Dr. Obadele Kamban, and I will be your MC for today. Now, just because I'm an MC doesn't mean that I'm going to rap. It doesn't mean that I'm going to rhyme. It doesn't going to mean that I'm going to dap. It doesn't mean I'll do it on time. Oh, that was all right. I'll try harder. All right. So we were going to get started, and before we do get started, I wanted to do a thanks to the sponsor, and we also wanted to get started with a welcome and a libation. So I think I will commandeer and kidnap one of these waters here, and we will make do of the libation floor as we will do it here. For those who are not aware, I am the designated libation man here at the Institute of African Studies, and it is something that I take to be an honor. Okay, is everyone here familiar with what a libation is? Does anyone know what a libation is? One person, good, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so 7 people here know what a libation is. So for those who don't, I will help you. A libation is where we have a family reunion between those who we can see with our eyes physically and those who we can no longer see with our eyes, because we realize that even though the sun may set, that doesn't mean the sun doesn't exist anymore. Similarly, even though a human being may pass on, it doesn't mean that they stop existing. So therefore we call everyone together, the seen and the unseen, into a big African family reunion. And because I'm not a friend of the English language and I'm actually an African anti-American, I will pour libation in Chi. All right? And the way it will go is that we pour libation first to the Creator, to the spirit of the earth, to other spirits, to ancestors, and I will, at that point, ask you to call the names of those ancestors. They will ask for blessings and ask for curses upon our enemies, and we'll move forward with the program.
Otumfo arade nyakopon twere bonkwam ye kyerɛ wonsu ne yama wonsu asase ya mpone mu asase odu mu sama aduane die mrefa die akoso ndia so modo so nti yinu bi mbom mudi baako na se fra baako na ye fra mu nyina asu tano konkon tano brefa tano akono di won sabe kumni asu di bi asu buafo asu odifo asu abina adade kofi na ne se kitwa mu nyina creative na afo apie na to mu nyina momra na ne die ene se ye fra ye nanom ye nanom nyina creative na afo apie na to mu nyina momra ye fra hunu ha hunu ye fra mu nyina ye nanom ye fra ba ko na ye fra mu nyina mu modi all the names David Thomas Sankara Steve Biko Dedan Kumar Madiba
Santa Joe
Dr. Kromas
Maya Angelo Santiwa
Asata Shako
Francis Press-Welsing
Mugabe
Rashawn McCarroll
Ahmed Sekuturi
Harriet Tubman
Kwame Ture
Dr. John Henry Clark
Marcus Mozaka Dr. Ivan Van Zoten Philip Bell Ati sɛ yɛ kaa no yɛ frɛ baako na yɛ frɛ nyinaa sɛ yɛ ka mu nyinaa sɛ yɛ bɔ mu nyinaa de ade bɛkyɛn yɛn nti yɛ frɛ baako na yɛ frɛ mu nyinaa na ne deɛ ɛne sɛ ɛne yɛ dwada anwummerɛ yɛ srɛ mo nkwa na ɔkwan san yɛ srɛ mo nyansa yɛ srɛ mo nkɔsoɔ yɛ srɛ mo nhyira yɛ srɛ mo mfuntuo yɛ srɛ mo sika yɛ srɛ mo nyansa yɛ srɛ mo nimdeɛ yɛ srɛ mo biribiara a ɛbɛma abibiman nkɔsoɔ ne abibifa hodie yɛpɛ ma hodie ɛde ma yɛn ne yɛn nanonom nkyirema na deɛ ɔmpɛte nya nkɔsoɔ no deɛ ɔbɔ ne bra koraa ma yeye ɔde anhyɛ n'atefo nyinaa ase na nka baako wɔn nyinaa yɛ srɛm yi ɔmo nanonom hwɛ wɔn ti baako wɔn nyinaa yɛ srɛm yi wɔdaworoma monsura yi nyinaa yɛ si ahae monsura mmea mi mpae monsura Mutabaruka ɔtwa kwan waa na ɛbaa ha ɛfiri Jamaica man mu ɛde baa Ghana sɛ na ɔbaa ha no ɔmmra dwodwodwodwo asomdwe nko na yɛpɛ ɛde ama no sɛ ɔkɔ a asomdwe nko ɔnkɔ dwodwodwodwodwo na afei deɛ wabɛyi deɛ nti ɔnkyerɛ yɛn nyansa nimdeɛ a mo dɔ sɛ dɛ bɛyɛ a yɛbɛnya nkɔsoɔ ayewɔ abibifa ho deɛ pɛ no nti wɔn nyinaa yɛ sɔrɔ mu madaworoma monsura yɛn kɔsio
Okay, so we'll continue. Now, for anyone who doesn't understand the Twi language, I would recommend you get a Twi dictionary. You can also come to Institute of African Studies to learn African languages such as Twi and others. You can also go online to Abibitu Mikasa, which happens to be one of our headline sponsors, where we teach Twi online and offline. So that is our libation. Now we have a high-frequency family reunion going on. I heard Amilcar Cabral is here. Amilcar, can you raise your hand? Yes. Yes. Dr. John Henry Clark, Francis Press Welsing, we have the family reunion in full effect. So before we do get started, we would like to thank all of our sponsors. We would like to thank ACOF, including Dr. Sharita, who, through her good works, we were able to bring Mutabaruka here to Institute of African Studies. Drum and Gong, with Nana Kweku Bafo, who is here on the front row, sitting next to Mutabaruka. Can you raise your hand, please? Yes. We would also like to thank Institute of African Studies. Everyone here who is a research fellow, including myself, you see I'm repping hard for IAS. Thank you. Clap as though you're clapping for me. That is the spirit. Dr. Mjiba Freyewat, I saw Dr. Edem in the back. Any research fellows who I may be missing, it's not intentional. We would also like to thank African Renaissance Foundation, the ARF, which sounds like a revolutionary movement because it is, represented by Dr. Zawena Oseti. If you can please stand and be recognized. We would also like to thank Abibitu Mikasa, and I'm not just doing that because it's me, but it is actually on the paper. For those who don't know, Abibitu Mikasa translates to Black Power language. So we say we should not only speak our own languages, but we should speak about African liberation in our own languages. Also, special thanks to Dr. Sharita Yazid of ACOF for her vision in making this possible. Now, we're going to do introduction of the topic and introduction of the speaker. On this it says Dr. Obadile Kamba, myself will do that, but that will actually be Prof. A.C. Sutherland Adi who will do that. And just briefly, I came to know about Mutabaruka back in 1994. I went to a screening of Sankofa, the movie in Washington, D.C. at age 15, and I said, this is a powerful African. And ever since then, I've been saying this is a powerful African, so it's good to see him. And with no further ado, I will turn it over to Prof. A.C. The illustrious, honorable, and praiseworthy, the black powerful and blacknificent and spectacular Prof. A.C. Sutherland Adi. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you for coming to the Institute of African Studies. As for Obadile and his new words, every time I see him talking, he makes up some new words. What is it? Spectacular. Okay, all right. We are here for a very special reason. I know I sound very calm, but I'm extremely excited to be in the presence of Mutabaruka, who I've known about ever since I was quite young. I won't tell you how old I am now, but it's a long time, and it's good to see you in flesh and to recall what you have been to all of us. We need to recall a little bit about your background, so I'm sorry, I'm going to tell people that you were trained in electronics and that you worked for the telephone company. That's really amazing. But it also tells us that, you know, we may start from somewhere, but we never know where we're going to end up. So Mutabaruka was born in Jamaica and became aware of the Black consciousness movement when he was in his teens, and began to read the necessary literature that would bring him some consciousness. And then he took a decision that Rastafarianism was the way to understand who he was and to be who he was supposed to be. And of course, when he made the decision to become a Rastafarian, it says here that his friends thought he was mad and going out of his mind. And I mean, of course, we in Ghana know that that's something that people also do here as well, and not understanding the depth to which he was going in self-knowledge and in understanding himself. He has been all around the world. He's very well known, a very well-known voice. He's been called a dub poet, and he doesn't really like that very much because he doesn't think that that really represents who he is. And I'm hoping that today you will explain to us, you know, how labels sometimes don't really match what you are, and so you have to name yourself instead of allowing yourself to be named by other people. He's been recorded, published, he's been all over the world, and today he is here with us. He is here with us to share with us a topic that I'm sure will be of great use to us, because this is something that I don't know how to put it, but in Ghana, what he's going to talk about is very much needed. The greatest love is self-love. And the thing is, to what extent do we really love ourselves in this country, and do we understand what that means? So on that note, and looking forward to great wisdom and great inspiration, I have the honor to invite Mutabaruka to the podium. Thank you very much.
So good afternoon. Give thanks for the invite. You know, I mean, really appreciate it. And not every time I come for one thing, I get to do the next thing. But this is most inspiring. So we always take the opportunity to fulfill this mission. So I'm from Jamaica, as you can hear. With Rasta, we unapologetically say Rastafari, and that is what brings me to this stage. As the lady said, when we started saying Rastafari, as a matter of fact, most Jamaican youth, when we start to say Rastafari, people say you get mad, because they can't understand why you keep your ear like that, why you're talking about a man in Ethiopia, and why some of you smoke ganja. But really and truly, after a period of time and overcoming certain obstacles, you know, they say the thorn has become a crown. So that legacy of animosity against Rastafari, because of the work that Rastafari has been doing, both in Jamaica and abroad, and because they have used a secular music to preach a doctrine of love and unity amongst African people. it tends to send a different kind of message and feeling to the people who don't understand what we're dealing with. But really what Rastafari is dealing with is African liberation, African redemption, and finding yourself as an African person. So, there's a man by the name of Steve Biko. I don't know how much I've ever heard of him. Steve Biko is a South African from one of those parties during the time of apartheid. And Steve Biko said, the greatest weapon in the hands of the oppressor is the mind of the oppressed. We're going to repeat that again. The greatest weapon in the hands of the oppressor is the mind of the oppressed. And then Marcus Garvey, our teacher, come now and say, a people without a knowledge of them history and them past is like a tree without root. Now, based upon those two quotes, we're going to set the stage for what we call how black people lose them identity, and in losing them identity, they lose themselves, and they internalize the colonial master thinking and behavior to the point where when they look at themselves, they don't want to be themselves. They want to be like the people who enslave us and who colonize us. So, picture a square and you have two diagonal lines between two squares. And you know you have two diagonal lines meet in the center of the square. Now picture that you are looking at a pyramid from that angle, up. Looking down, that is what you would see when you look at the pyramid from up. You see a square, and the tip of it looks like it's in the middle. Now, on the four corners of that pyramid, you will have put sociology, economics, politics, religion, 4 disciplines. What is missing from that equation? Anybody can tell me? 4 corners. You have sociology, economics, politics, religion. What is missing from the equation? Okay, all right. As you said, if you are alone behind me, most you would say it. What is missing from the equation is culture. And culture is not at the 4 sides. Culture is in the center of the pyramid. Culture is the basis for understanding people in the environment. So when you go to the university to study anthropology, which is man in his environment, you have to get into the culture of the people. The reason why politicians can use politics to govern the people, because most politicians want to lead the people. And really and truly, a politician is you employ him or her. It's not him deciding what he must do. He must move in relationship to the desires and the wants and the needs of the people that him govern. But the politician don't understand the culture of the people. So what the politician do is go into a next environment that him study politics in. And most of the time the environment that him studying the politics is the same colonial master logics, the same colonial master ideas that him use to try to govern a people that is not of that frame. In other words, for instance, Jamaica is governed by a Westminster system. Yet still 90% of the people in Jamaica is identified with black African people. Now if you use a system that was imposed upon the people for 400 years, and then you come now and you went to England and study that, and then now you say you're going to make a difference to the people that you are governing without studying the heritage, the culture, and the sociological mindset of the people, then you can't be a good politician. You can never be a good politician. So that's why a lot of politicians, before them is politicians, they really mean good. Most politicians really mean good because most politicians come from the people. But when they go into the power, it's a different frame. They realize if you don't try to decide they're going to fight the power, I can't fight the power from outside, so I'm going to go inside and fight the power. And then when you realize you're going inside and fight the power, and next man say, power corrupt, and absolute power corrupt, absolutely. So most politician is corrupted by the system that they try to use to govern the people without understanding the cultural heritage and background of the people. And even though some politicians might come from the people because of the education that they get, which is the same colonial master education, they use that against the people. Now economics is a strength. Economics is where you decide how your money will go and how the situation, how things are going money-wise and everything. Most politicians, if you ask most people on the street, they say politicians are thief. I don't know why people always say that. Every time something says, why don't I trust politicians and them are thief? It really, if I was a politician, I don't really feel that way. For no, say I don't really a thief, nothing. But every time I hear, say politician a thief. Politicians seem and appear to be stealing because the economics that them, the economical solution that they're using is not conducive to the people that they're governing. If they would only study the culture and analyze the culture of the people, then you'd have a different outcome in figuring out what is economically viable and feasible for the nation. So we come to the next one. Can remember we talk about sociology, economics, politics. We come to religion now. Now religion is a serious one. Where economics, sociology, politics, is when it comes to religion now, a person will quick to change the party that they belong to. Quick. Politician come and give him some money and just switch him allegiance to the next party who give him the money. We always say in Jamaica, if this party give you money, take the money and vote for the next party. You know, it's a religion. The preacher is not coming from the perspective of the cultural heritage and expression of the people. Because once again, like the politician, is using the colonial master's idea of how it must go. So you find say most politicians who is popular and become famous don't go into the cultural expression and manifestation of the people. As a matter of fact, they will now tell you, after adopting the colonial master's religion, they will now tell you that the culture of the people is a devil thing. Don't go into that. That is something that you must deal with. Why you want to deal with this and deal with that? Jesus is here to save you. Save you from your ancestral legacy. That is a presumptuous thinking that a colonial master used religion to enslave a people and then use the same slave who think that him free. All of it is a bossy slave with jacket and tie. He was nothing else, just a bossy slave living in a big house, big mansion, and he feels him free. He's using the colonial master's philosophy to free and liberate the people that is enslaved by telling them that what is innately, what is in them DNA is not something them should respond to. So we have a real serious problem and a serious issue. Because once you start to tell somebody say he was born in sin and shaped in iniquity, there's no love for himself. No love. Because what he's searching for now is a love outside of himself. So he's looking for something invisible to latch onto. Yet, for those of you who know the Bible says, how can you say you love God who you cannot see, yet still you cannot love who you can see? Because you have to love who you can see first. Because just maybe who you can see is a manifestation of that which you cannot see. So automatically, in the cultural, ancestral legacy of African people, it is what you see you love first, and you automatically love what you cannot see, because you cannot love something that you cannot see. Because everything is a manifestation of that which you cannot see. So first you have to show love to what you can see, and you're automatically loving that which you cannot see. Now them have it twisted. People who follow these religion have it twisted. Them loving God and saying, no, I don't love him, you know. God alone me love. I don't trust man, it's only God I trust. So you see self-hate develop out of those philosophy and concept. But black people look on themselves and say, no, sir, you can't love that. It's himself you matter about, you know, you can't love that. So you have to configure themselves in so many different ways, trying to look like the images that is placed in front of them for them to love. So I come to Ghana, and I must say, really and truly, Ghana, out of every African country I have been to, Ghana is mostly deep into this white Jesus thing. I can't understand it. I can't understand it. I see a big sign outside and so with a white man goes on. And him here look like one of them hippie from in the 70s, 60s. And he said, Jesus here. I saw a big wall. I take a picture of it up. Can you go show Jamaican people? I saw a big wall. And at the end it said, Jesus here. I'm driving in a taxi. And I see a man with a picture, a rosary, and a picture on the windshield. And when I asked him, who is that? He said, that is my father. I said, wow. You are a bastard child. Because they don't look nowhere like you at all. So I am seeing the deepness in which this thing carries. That because of all those 4 different disciplines, not conforming to the cultural expression that was given to us by our ancestors, we lose track, we lose sight, we miss the boat. Now how do I come back? How do I come back? How do I reclaim our past? How do I reclaim our history? How are we going to reclaim love and understanding for self? Because Marcus Garvey said, if you have no confidence in yourself, you are twice defeated in the race of life. But with confidence, you have won even before you have started. That's a serious mantra. A serious mantra from a little man who come from St. Anne in Jamaica. If you have no confidence in yourself, you are twice defeated in the race of life. But with confidence, you have won even before you have started. How much of us here can truly say that we have confidence in ourselves? Because every time we start to say we have confidence in ourselves, there's an obstacle come show and say, yeah, you know, so you have to pass the exam to get a good job. And then when you leave school, there's no job out there for you. And then they'll teach you how to own business. At least black people, they don't teach black people how to own business, they teach you how to manage business. So you have managerial skills, you have secretarial skills, that people feel contented with managing people business and going like it's them own it. Some bossy niggas in them suit every day to them with them Apache and them in them BMW and how them look on the people them. You feel say the car where them drive and the suit of them have all is theirs. But it is there until the owner decides to let them go. And then they become like you. They're riding for a fall. We don't own things. And when we try to own things, if we don't see the result in a 1, 2, 3 years, we can't bother. We start over again and say, Chuck, but the business is not work out for me, you know. I'm going to do something else. Where I come from is the Chinaman. The Chinaman started with a grocery shop. Yo, yes. The Chinaman started like a grocery shop. And for years, look how much violence in the area. Him still own that grocery shop. And his son grow come up. And then him leave the grocery shop and go open a supermarket. And leave his son in the shop. And when his son grow big, him make the son go run the supermarket. And him go open a mall. And when you're looking at the mall, it's pure black people in there that have fun. Pure black people have fun. All who want to meet them girlfriend, boyfriend, everything. All who want to use the internet, all who want to do all sorts of things. Just idle out the place and just look back foolishness. They find themselves in the mall. There's no ownership there. Because when we start to feel that we want to own something, the odds are stacked against us most of the time. Most of the time. Because the people them in power, even though they look like me and you, they don't have no love for you. And in turn, because they don't have no love for you, they don't have no love for themselves. So they become greedy and want to look out for themselves. They become selfish. Selfishness is not love for self. Selfish is an extension of ego, where you make ego override your understanding of your inner self, inner being. And all of us should be striving for that self-acclamation, that self-strength, that strength. Some of us say we will pray. Yeah, we say we will pray. We want to go back to the Bible, because I know it's the Bible you know here. The Bible said, faith without works is dead. Faith without works is dead. That no matter. There's a story about a man wanting to win the lottery. And every night he go to bed and pray, please God, make I win the lottery. Please God, make I win the lottery. And for the 100th of time in prayer, I said, please God, let me win the lottery. One day God decided to go and answer him. When he said, please God, make I win the lottery, God said, then why you don't buy a ticket? Because them faith that getting there. But you don't understand, say, having just faith, not going to work. You have to work with faith. Faith don't hold by itself. Just like how work don't hold by itself. The two of them work together. And the only way you can have faith in work is because you believe in what you're doing. And if you believe in what you're doing, that's what Marcus Garvey said. Confidence in self. Twice defeated in the race of life. We were never taught that. Through the line of colonialism, through the line of imperialism, and now it's the neo-colonialism, we lose track as African people. We're searching for our love in religion that was given to us by the slave master. White man God cannot save you from white man oppression. Cannot save you from white man oppression, no matter how you believe and believe and believe. Because your great grandmother sit down on the veranda and pray, and things don't get better for she, and she dead. And your mother come, your great mother, your grandmother come and pray, and our situation remain the same, and she dead. And your mother come and sit down and I pray, and I work hard too, and she dead. And we know say if you keep doing the same thing the same way all the while, you're going to get the same result. So we need a revolution of our consciousness, of our mind, where we say, we have to take this thing in our own hand now. And the only way we can take the thing in our own hand, if we see ourselves at the center of the universe. That's why a lot of these ancestral legacies is very important to our development. I will show them one side. Today I went into the market, what I call it, Jojo market. At Jojo market, me love call it. Me love calling Jojo. The sister said, oh, I didn't want to say Jojo to you, because I don't know how you feel. I said, I feel good about Jojo. So say it to me. I don't have nothing against Jojo. Because I say Roman Catholic priests do some things where I can't believe that them believe that. Anybody here is a Roman Catholic? Don't feel away. Anybody here is a Roman Catholic? The Roman Catholic says, never think of the Eucharist. Everybody ever hear about the Eucharist? No? You. Alright, the Eucharist is something that they put on that represents the body of Christ. And then they have the wine, and it represents the blood of Christ. No, I kid you not. Go and ask any Roman Catholic deacon or bishop or priest. Tell them to hear Muta say this. And you know say Rataman has come with some foolishness. Tell me if a Muta says foolishness. The Roman Catholics believe that Eucharist, when it goes into your body, it literally becomes the flesh of Christ. And the wine that you drink, you know what literal mean? Anybody know what literal mean? If I say man or dog, that's not literal, you know. That's figurative language. They believe that when they drink the wine, it literally becomes the blood of Jesus. Enough blood not for one man out. Because Roman Catholicism is the biggest denomination in Christianity. So for 1 billion people that drink blood, serious thing. If African people ever design such a thing, you'll hear, oh my God, what are these people doing? That is the devil. We can't tolerate those things. Drinking of blood and eating of flesh. That's almost like cannibalism, you know. Because it comes from that tradition. The idea comes from that tradition. But it comes down through a generation of people now who use it to manipulate other human beings and themselves. That when you talk about healing yourself, you can't heal yourself unless you interject what they give you. And what they give you have nothing to do with yourself. When you look on the river and the African, the Native American, the Aboriginal people talk about the life in the water. When you look on the tree and them say the life in the tree, even the stone, the African and the Native American say life is in the stone, even though it's an inanimate object. But what that do? It makes the human being recognize that he's one with the creation and not separate and apart from the creation. So when they do these things, when the white man went to America and see the Indian dancing and rain fall, he said, wow, these people have some mystical power. Him try to do it and it no work. But him feel say, it's rain the people them want. Why them dance? But it's a rain dance because them know when the rain going to fall. Them know say you have rainy season. Them study the stars, them study the nature and understand that it's a certain time of the year when rain comes to them plant certain food. That is a relationship with self and with nature. Or you connect yourself, the love where you have with yourself, with Mother Earth. We lose that. We lose that because we can't connect with Earth again. It's pure concrete jungle we are living in right now. Some people never ever see dirt yet. What if you never see dirty? Because I mean, some high-rising building, you know, you don't know who next door you. You go home and you see a man over next door, you wonder, wait, where the hell is this guy coming from? Especially if he's a Rasta. Yes, a Rasta, not supposed to be in a big house. How am I do over there? We can't see ourselves in things. To see the goodness in things, you have to see yourself in things. That's why Rasta man say, I and I. And people say, what kind of semantics that? But the Rasta man gone over the whole understanding of the English language. Because the Rasta man say, but you teach me at school, say I is first person. And you is second person. The Rasta man say, I deal with no second person, you know. Everyone is I. One and I is one. So when you look at the next person, him don't see you. Him say I, which is I said here. I and I. To the normal ears, they say, I didn't care, you go to school to study those damn foolishness, you know. But it have a logics in it that cannot be defined in the European logics. Because the I becomes the center of the universe. The I is what propels all living forces and all living things to coordinate with each other. And we're out of balance because we don't see ourselves. African people not looking at themselves as God and goddesses. If you could only know, or go back to the Bible again, since you know the Bible. I don't want to quote no other book. I don't want to go over your head. In the Bible, man asked the man with them called Jesus, say, who do people say I am? He say, you're the son. He say, so who you say I am? He say, well, you is the Messiah. He say, look here. When you say I, you see the Father. Have I been with you so long and yet you don't know the Father? Before Abraham was I am. That's a very profound thing. It's a human being, we're not even 30 yet, you know. He said before Abraham was I am, and they choose to kill him. They want to kill him, no, I say, you is not even 30, 50 yet, and you want to talk about you were before our father Abraham. If it wasn't at this time, Isaac killed him 1 million times. To come rise above Abraham. He said before Abraham was I am. When you say I, you see the Father, because the Father and the Son is one. That should make you see all the things that you ask about yourself, you know. But when you look upon yourself, you're supposed to say, the Creator emanate from you. It's not a supernatural thing to understand yourself, you know. You have to get supernatural. Because what happens is that it's a lack of information why people get superstitious. It's a lack of information why people get superstitious. Information must inspire you. And inspiration without information leads to superstition. And black people hold some superstitious ideas where it's unbelievable. And when they teach you, a little man up in the sky and watch you if you go in the fridge and take out some food. Don't go in the fridge and take out any food. God is watching you. God have nothing to do. If you watch me and take out food, like a child, I'll take out food out of my mother's fridge. And he got to me something because he's hungry at the night and he want some food. You have to find something else to do. There are politicians out there opposite the people. Why business with me and like a food or take out food out of the fridge? But that is the way of the thinking. The thinking don't carry it to yourself. Because every road, you know what they say? So many rivers, one sea. So many leaves, one tree. The road must carry you to your destination. And the destination is you. So if you go, you might start out, somebody say, well, he must search for God. Anybody who tells him I search for God, don't trust him. God is not lost. God is searching and hiding. God is not hiding because everything. It's not like you, God in you, you know. It's you in a God. Because you can't escape. Because when I am young, you them tell I say God is omnipresent. If God is omnipresent, that means He's there everywhere. So it can't come down from the sky. Because if it come down from the sky, that means He's never there, so in the first place. But I there, and all the ones that were there. And the Egyptian book and they tell you, to see the good in things, you have to see yourself in things. And the only way you can manifest the love that you want and that you need is to identify yourself in things, not only human beings, but all life form. All life form. Because if you negate one life form, how you know that that life form that you negate is not part of your ancestral legacy? You have some people choose to eat certain animal and them not support them don't eat certain because of religion. And you say, why human beings have to kill to survive? That is a doctrine of human arrogance. Because the same animals that can kill, most of the time the animal them don't kill to survive. So if a mere cow and a fat one at that can survive without killing, much less man in all its splendor and glory who was made in the image and likeness, that him now want to survive and him kill. So he spread that into wars. Wars and rumors of wars and nation rising against nation and everybody fighting, and it not stopping. African people have to find that center. Because we did start with. And if we don't find back that center, may I tell you, my song name Edlel Posahal. If African people don't come to an understanding of self, not through colonial master's idea of economics, not through the colonial master's idea of politics, not through the colonial master's idea of religion, not through the colonial masters of how we socialize, but finding the connection we have with who went before us. And we have so much. A while ago, we heard the libation a while ago, and the amount of dead people will get called. And all of them is dead people who inspire the living when they were alive. And now that they die, where is that legacy of love for self? Because all of these leaders preach love for self in African people. Where did we lose that? Where did we lose the love for self? How much time are you going to look at the mirror? Suppose one day you look at the mirror and don't see yourself. Where are you going to go? You're going to go behind the mirror and look? That terrible thing that? Because them say the mirror is just reflecting you, but sometimes maybe it's not you in the mirror. It's a copy. And most of us right now is copy. We are genetically modified people. African people is genetically modified to fit a situation, a sociology, a philosophy that don't include them in the scheme and the running of Earth, even Africa, where we're supposed to own. We don't recognize that. Because the more we look upon this, and now I say, I'll leave it tomorrow, so I don't care. The more we look upon this hippie looking, blue-eyed, blonde-haired brother, is the more we internalize it and we don't realize it. Because it's so deep in our psyche that we start to do things and feel that it's we are doing it. And only if a time we do things and feel that we are doing it, you know. It's like when black people walk around with tear-up clothes. The jeans tear up. It's a long time black people have tear-up clothes in their closet and they never wear it. And now we see girls that walk and tear yourself, and if you tear up, them tear up yourself, and It's tear. My grandmother never made me come out of the house with tear up clothes. And I would have to take off the pan like a sweat. Now the more tear you have on is the more you are in. Oh, we get that stage. Oh, we reach a stage where we're wearing tear up clothes as a fashion statement. And it's not black people give with that. It's some little guy from 5th Avenue put up some tear up jeans, maybe never even want the jeans. But him say, you know, so I can do something with it. I'm going to make a fashion statement. He put it on a mannequin, a white mannequin. Black people are passed the showcase seat and say, wow. And when you look, you say $100. And you go buy the jeans. And when you go home, you open your closet and you see so much tear up jeans. You say, my God, you come and tear up jeans. I remember seeing me have them tear up jeans. You don't support him already. How them get you to do that? How them get you to do that without even thinking? That is not something that your grandmother or your great-grandmother or maybe even your mother would have given credence to. How them get you to I wear these long extensions made in China. Then I asked her sister, why I like your hairstyle? She said, yeah, me have receipt feet. I said, wow, you have a receipt for your ear? Because not our ears made in China. I'm going to tell her, I'm going to buy some for her. I'm going to buy some longer than the one that she have on top. Because when she looked at the mirror and she see her ear, she said, well, you know, it's too hard to manage. All of a sudden, black people here hard for manage, you know. Something that you were given by nature is hard to manage. So you have to do some configure it. Like you use a computer. You have to configure your ear now and say, alright. We usually put hot comb like, you know, and fry it, you know. Which part I come from, the woman, them sit down and them, and you hear the frying and you smell the eye like some baked pork and they say, oh, black people are do that to them ear. But them say, well, it's easier to manage because it is more presentable. More presentable to who? Who is more presentable to? Is that eat for self? We're going to come in Africa. I mean, I tell some people say, well, the things all see bleaching in Jamaica, I don't want to go to Africa and see bleaching. You want to go to Senegal, go see bleaching. I'm coming and I see whole heap of bleachers, so we look like them start to stop bleach. Because you can know when somebody has stopped bleaching. You know? And I say, why you want to do that? Because it's not making them white. And them don't look white. Them look ugly. But whole heap of black spots, and it just look terrible. And some of them bleachers on the ears, so them chest black like tar. Or we eat ourselves, sir. Who caused us to eat ourselves like that? In all aspects of our life. In the church, in politics, in economics, in sociology, in religion. Who allow us, or how did we allow us of ourselves to reach that quagmire, that filth, that we can't pull ourselves out of it? And when somebody tries to pull you out of it, it becomes the enemy. Them Rasta, them, I don't know what them Rasta, them, how them talk about damn foolishness. Most people think that about me, about I and I. Because even though some man can't even explain Rastafari to the fullest, but he must see something. Man, I say, that foolishness, but man, then if life emanates in all living things, and God is omnipresent, means that He's present everywhere. Why I couldn't see God in this virgin or this system? Why it have to be that I cannot close my eye and imagine that there's someone out there that is going to come and save me from this wicked and cruel world? We have to save ourselves. And the only way we will save ourselves is if we find love amongst ourselves. We can't reiterate that too much. Love. There's a song named The Greatest Love is the Love We Have to Send. Anybody know that song? Old song. Whitney Houston sing it, George Benson sing it. Greatest Love. They have a movie with Muhammad Ali. Greatest love is the love we have for yourself. We don't love ourselves. A man make a product and he put on the box. Warning. The Surgeon General warned that cigarette smoking is dangerous to your health. And you read the box and you ignore the sign and you go and go smoke the cigarette. I bet if you buy a brand new Mercedes-Benz and in the Benz it say, warning, smoking in this car will clog up the engine. You never smoke in there. And if anybody comes to look here, you can't smoke in the car, you know, because it will clog up the engine. What a terrible thing. How them get you to do that? How them get you to read that sign and him tell you upon the box, the biggest writing, smoking kills. And you just puff away. You see how some man who smoke cigarette and cuss the rest of them. Or they smoke too much ganja, and that's how they get mad. You smoke too much cigarette, you still get cancer. How them get you to do that? How them get you to lose yourself so much that you don't ever recognize self-hate? And self-hate now becomes an invitation to lift up the colonial master's empire. And we fool ourselves every day. We go to work every day. We vote in one politician and he come and we say, well, I don't like that politician in the next 5 years of voting on this. Well, I don't like that politician. And we keep recycling the same garbage over and over and over and expect to get a different result. How do you get to buy water in a plastic bottle? Water is the most precious thing on earth. And now water more expensive than gas. How the hell them get to buy water in a plastic bottle? And then you throw the plastic bottle and then the plastic bottle become a problem to human beings. Them say the amount of plastic bottle we use in America can go down around the world nearly 200 times. The amount of plastic bottle we use in America per year can almost go around the world 200 times. When you come in at these countries, black people seem to lose our environmental consciousness. Because when we did appreciate the rivers and we appreciate the air and the trees and the birds and the flowers, no, because we get so aggressive against each other now. The only thing we want to see a bird fight to kill him and eat him. Water now, my brethren, we talk about the river. The brethren say, he didn't know a river up there, so where there's a time when nobody would have peeping at the river. No guy is a part of those peeping at the river, not throw anything at the river. Then you expect, say, nature never turn back to you. Nature might turn back because when nature belch and when nature vomit, thousands of people die. When nature start to cry, when Mother Nature cry, people get flooded out. Ironically, it's most of the people them where, well, I don't know if here, but in Jamaica. The people them go to church every Sunday. Them build them house in some very precarious situation. And it's to them house get washed first. The big man who sit up on the hill, everybody else, they say that boy, them are wicked, and the politician and females just alright up there. Nature have a way for you. Because you can't destroy nature, you know. What man is trying to do is make it miserable for human beings to exist on the earth. But you can't do nothing to upset nature. Nature have a way for you who do have a love for yourself, who do have a love for nature. Go and feel the pinch of it. So we're going to close with the same thing we start with. Steve Biko said, the greatest weapon in the hands of the oppressor is the mind of the oppressed. Marcus Garvey said, if you have no confidence in yourself, you are twice defeated in the race of life. But with confidence, you have won even before you have started. Give thanks.
All right. That talk was Black Powerful, Blacknificent, Blacktastic, Blackerific, and if I do say myself, Spec-Blackula. One more round of applause, please, for Mutabaruka. Snake won't eat whatever in the belly of the frog. All right. Along those same lines, we would like to open it up for question and answer. I would like to briefly share a quick quote with you, also by Malcolm X, if I may be indulged. And the quote is, who taught you to hate yourself? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin? Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to so much that you don't want to be around each other? You know, before you come asking Mr. Muhammad, does he teach hate? You should ask yourself, who taught you to hate what God made you? Something to think about. And there is an answer to that question. And perhaps that quote can guide you as you are thinking about your questions to Mutabaruka as we're talking about self-love. The other side of that coin is self-hate. All right, so we'll open up the floor. Any thoughts, comments? We'll come here and then here.
Thank you very much. My name is Stella J, and I'm a PhD candidate in the Institute of African Studies. Thank you very much, Mutabaruka, for your thought-provoking lecture. And I really like the introductory section and the conclusion of your lecture. Now, my question is, you stress on the importance of culture and anthropology in the cultural, in the mind, the revolution of the mind. Now, development is not measured in terms of infrastructure or technology or nuclear weaponry. Development starts from the mind, and man is at the center of development. Now, we live in a country where we don't have anthropology departments. Now, how can we develop as a race if we don't even study the race on a fundamental level? Thank you.
Perhaps we should do this where we'll take 3 questions and then we'll come back to help.
No, never forget, my brain's no function.
Let's do it right now.
You see, you should have 5 anthropological studies in the university since you come to this university. You see, you can't look for PhD and then complain to anthropology there and you make an effort with others like you, like minds. Because you have to come together with like minds and see if you can make a change and a difference in the study of anthropology. So my suggestion to you as of today and tomorrow, find some other people who feel say anthropology is an important study and see if you can make a recommendation to the powers that be. See if you can make a recommendation to the powers that be. They deal with anthropology. That's what I said.
My name is Ernest Sasu Kwame Sewodo, and and I with the Department of History, MPhil student. And really, Kwame Nkrumah said something, and he said that action without thought is empty, and thoughts without action is blind. And I'm going and talk about Caribbean and Jamaican people, and him say that them is a people of learning and thought, and really and truly we see that in our presentation. And from a long time ago, I just go up on the internet and just check out Mutabaruka and listen to enough of your programs, cutting edge, and all of them things. So really and truly, blessed love.
Yeah, man, give thanks.
To come here and we really have an interaction with you. But my question is, throughout your presentation, we see centrality and oneness and love. That are the main thing you are talking to us about. And we have to develop demand as well. But personally, me I look over these books where Marcus Garvey write about, for instance, where C.L.R. James wrote about, and how Europe underdeveloped Africa. And you can't get it. You see me? So really and truly we have to start to feed the mind with these kind of information. But we are struggle and sometimes we can't really get it. So we are going to start with this mental revolution at the personal level, then I go run and go through. Thank you very much.
Well, you know, this is the age of information, and you can go on the internet and do anything where you want to, bad or good. So I suggest that you go to Amazon and search the book that we just mentioned. C.L.R. James, Black Jacobin, Philosophical Opinions of Marcus Garvey, Walter Rodney, How Europe Underdeveloped Africa. All of these books can be had. It's just how you are about it now. Because I never bring none. I never bring none, I never tell. So you have to figure out how you forget it. So me can tell you how you forget it now. Just go on your internet, I can assume so you can use it. And then just click for Amazon and see if you can find it. And then you will get it to buy. I mean, some guy just bootleg it on the internet and you can read it. Kind of all about bootlegging, you know. Them call it e-books. When you go in a library and a book not in there, it's just electronically read. So just try that. Just try go on the internet and find Amazon.com and figure out about the book. Maybe they pay a big price so you can't afford, but we can't let me down. Yeah.
And Dr. Zawena Oseti also wanted to let people know that African Renaissance Foundation has an ebook library. So you go to arf-int.net and you'll get the books there for free to download.
Yeah, I mean.
Also, the philosophy of it and opinions of Marcus Garvey is on Abibitumi Casa. We have ebooks, over 100,000 of them. So if we are saying that we can't get them, perhaps we are not looking hard enough. They are there. Other hands.
Greetings. Greetings, Muta. Okay, I am Natika, and just to add up to what our beloved brother just said, I have a little project named the Book Liberator Project, which mostly shares books as PDF as well. So anybody who wants to link me up can get them probably through Ryan Moses. Just get a memory stick and you can get many books as well. I may not have 102,000, but I still have the essential ones and they're available for free as well.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Beautiful. Any other questions for Mutabaruka?
Yeah, Mutabaruka. My name is Nana Bafo. You've spoken a lot, very insightful. But from my observation and my experience, I've come to realize that there are a lot of people who are pro-African who are Pan-Africanists in their mindset and who have an inkling for things African. However, the issue of religion, and in terms of adapting to or coming close to the authentic African traditional religion or African spiritual act or African spiritual system is always a very big problem. They can love it from afar. Like when we went to the market today, that 80 to 90% of people who love Africa, but they will never make that step. So in your experience as both a practitioner and also as a scholar, how do you think we can merge the two so that people can move from just loving the spiritual system to practicing the spiritual system? Thank you.
Well, Africa is not a country. Africa is a continent. You have only a different country where people practice different ways. So depending on where you find yourself geographically in Africa, you might want to adapt to that way. But we can now impose the Yoruba tradition on a Akan, on a Kemetic person or a Zulu, you understand? So we have to work with the African way, not necessarily the nationalistic way. Now we find that most people, most Pan-Africanists, you have two set of people who deal with this thing. You have a set of people who are very into white supremacy to the point where them cast is a white supremacy world, so they become a Christian. You have a Pan-Africanist who's very political, so him have a communist mindset. And that is where the problem is, because Marcus Garvey tell you about that. Marcus Garvey tell you about how the communists react to African spirituality. When Marcus Garvey said, worship God through your own spectacle, he must sure say, you must worship God, that's how you look, because the white man see God through his spectacle, the Jews see God through God, Abraham, Isaac, and Isaac. So really, we have a fight that most Pan-Africanists come from a discipline of communism, socialism. And socialism and communism come out of Europe. Don't give no pathway for African spirituality. So them also will look down on African spirituality because of them discipline of socialism, communism. Just like how the Christian person look down on African spirituality through a Christian mindset. Now we are saying that it's an individual try, you know. It's not trying to save the world, it's trying to save yourself. When you save yourself, you save the world. You understand? So you have to just go and try to your track and inform yourself as much as you can. You see? Because you have Pan-Africanists where eventually, I mean, we start out a certain way. We did a deal with Black Power in my school days, and just before me left school, me realized that Black Power is a political thing, it's not spirituality in it. See, because most political Black Power movement in America, where we don't know about, most of them was communists. So they never have no leeway of the spirituality in themselves. A Rastafari come show me not only a political way, but a spiritual way. It complete my movement of, alright, so now that we are talking about politics, oh, every African tradition have a certain amount of spiritual consciousness in it. So how come Black Panther and all of these people who used to uphold, them don't recognize that we need to go back to that ancestral legacy, whether it's in Ghana, Nigeria, or wherever you want to look. Understand? So you have to just go and try the track, brethren. Just go and try the track. That's it. Whosoever will make come.
Thank you very much. I'm grateful to be part of this lecture, and it's great listening to Mutabaruka. Honorable, my question is, you mentioned self-heat, and Dr. Campbell thought that a goat feeds within the diameter where it is tied. So the diameter which will determine where you feed. And now we know that in Jamaica, as part of their means to do away with colonial education, they have adopted the teaching of Garveyism, or the opinions of and philosophies of Garvey, as part of the curricula in a way to do away with colonial studies. Here in Ghana, the nation's founder, Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, is being taught at the basic schools, in history class and in social studies class, that he is a dictator. And our students are being taught the benefits of colonialism and the achievements, the achievements of governance, British governance, and that is colonial masters. So I would like to find out from you, what advice do you have for the University of Ghana, and in particular the Institute of African Studies, on how we can deal with colonial education?
Yeah, well, the advice is address that question to one of the teachers them here, because that sounds very strange that you have an African movement here that the man tell us Kwame Nkrumah is a dictator. And I don't know if any of the teachers can address that situation, because I can't address it. I can't address it. But Marcus Garvey started school in Jamaica at a small level. It's not where we want it to be. You know, it's a step, but it's not where we want it to be. But I can address this situation here. Somebody who up here South Africa tell you how that go.
Thank you. I think that this question should come to us here in Ghana. And we have to remember that, you know, we are split down the middle with people with various political persuasions. So sometimes when governments want to make peace, what they do is to say this and then that, and put both there on the curriculum. And I know you know what I'm talking about, because you know that if you try to, let's take Founders Day, for example. Founders, apostrophe F, R apostrophe S, and S with the apostrophe behind it. You know we have that problem for Kwame Nkrumah's birthday. We are not able to say that this is Kwame Nkrumah's birthday and he was the founder of the new state of Ghana. So people want us to put the S, the apostrophe after the S, so that it's the founders, the various founders. So it's our problem. We have to sort it out right here and see how we can separate the truth from partisan politics. Okay.
Good evening, Elder. Thank you for being here. It's an honor to get to hear you speak. And you talked some about spirituality, and a few minutes ago you talked about saving yourself, not trying to save the world. And I'm an African from the United States, and I say that I'm from the States especially because in a few months I have to go back. And I know I have to go back to a lot of heightened oppression, a lot of issues of police brutality. And so I've been on this journey of, like you talked about before, spiritual enlightenment, trying to decolonize myself from Christianity. And I just wanted you to elaborate a little on the idea that, you know, we see God in ourselves, but other people. And so going back to the United States especially, what is your wisdom as an elder to keep fighting the system, but not become the system in terms of hating other people and fighting other people violently, yet still being a revolutionary? Does that make sense?
Yeah, you know, I have a poem I say, by the ballot or the bullet, by the Bible or the gun, any which way freedom must come. Them ban it not Jamaica. Now, freedom is freedom. You want to free. You want to economically, politically, socially, religiously free. The journey that you find yourself back upon, and you just keep going. Because you know, say, until you nearly reach to the end of the journey, the obstacles them get heavier. Especially when you're in America, I can tell you that because we just 1 hour and 18 minutes from America. And especially everybody I get trumped, you know, is a serious thing. But you have to look on it, say, it's your fight, and it's your struggle, and you are trying to make better for yourself. And if yourself is involved in your fight and your struggle, I don't see where to stop you. You have to have that commitment. Commitment is a serious thing, you know, because some people start something, and that's before they talk. You have people, black people especially, who start a business 1 year, 2 years, and nothing not go on. And they say, well, I can't bother with the business, we're going to change the business. Chinaman hold on for the business for all 5, 6 years until they open all mall. And that's we need to develop that kind of attitude towards ourselves, where not because the thing not working out and get self gratification at the time, we feel so well we could do something else. And that's all. The struggle is long, and so much people come and die that you can live. So much. You hear the man do the libation a while ago. Just remember the name they will get called and see what in their life can inspire you in your life. That is the I and I we are talking about. What is it that they did in their life can inspire you in your life? And then you just continue the journey.
Good evening, Lisa. Thank you for coming to share your wisdom with us this evening. I'd just like to ask, in Africa here, Christianity is obviously, as you've observed, is very central to a lot of the people here. And I just want to ask, is it possible in your view, or the view of for somebody to be a Christian, but at the same time still have a love of self and a love of their African identity? Or in your view, being a Christian is a contradiction to one's African identity?
Yeah, that's a very touchy little question, because what happens is that we can remember different people who fight in the struggle and claim Christianity. And we can remember people who never claim Christianity and fight in the struggle. What we are saying is that the road to liberation is easier and more forthright if you embrace your legacy. It's not that you can't find something in somebody else's thing, but the road we are searching for, you don't want that thing on for you when you reach up this up, because what happened now is that it's like a man telling you, boy, right now to tell you on a bomb for you and blow up some people, you'll get 72 virgin when you go to heaven. How do you know that? No man who will tell people that ever go up, they're going to get 72 virgins to come back. Come tell you that. People are telling you when you die, where are going to happen to you, Christianity? How do you know that? There's nobody that ever died. If you come back, come tell you, say, why you want to when I'm dead, I don't play, and why I tell you on the street, paved with gold. So all of these things is what people are saying. And them carry the illusion. Because black people have illusion and don't know if you use the illusion. If you can use the illusion and benefit at you, it can work, you know. But when you use the illusion to guide ignorant and uneducated people, you might find yourself out of that quagmire. But the majority of people who you are going, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous if a man have a church and behind him you see a white man and him consciously black. So he claim, and the audience don't let us sit down and listen to him but I watch that. It's a subliminal thing. So even though this man might have said, I am an African and I am black and thing, the subliminal message is that, yeah, in actuality, the man whom we worship is a white man. It not going to work favor. It can't work favor. You can't go that far with that philosophy. But after that, it's going to fall. It's going to fall down. That can't save a nation and a generation of people from the onslaught of white supremacy. No matter how you say you're African and how you're black. Because most African leaders will say he's African and that he might defend black people. But look at the state of Africa. Look at the state of Africa today. 50 different countries in Africa. Which leader in Africa right now where you can say, see the Christ there, and him know how to save black people from white man oppression? Most of them corrupt. Most of them corrupt. From the west coast to the east coast, from the north to the south. Pure corruption are going. Unload favors. People take money under the table, over the table, around the table. And him stand up until he say him is an African. And him is what? Black. Conscious. But when you look at the people, they will govern. And the biggest separation. I'm tired of hearing people that talk about Africa is the richest continent. Africa is the richest continent with the poorest people on earth. We can't even build a train line from Ghana to Ethiopia. And the Chinese never come build that for it. Watch and see. The Chinese will make you stop, fly plane to go out of South Africa. I'm not take a train and go down there. We don't have people in Africa who can build train line in collaboration with the Chinese. And these people say like them African cultures. And about Africa, all of them say them is Pan-Africanist too. And when you're looking at them country, the people them are suffer. Our Prime Minister is a female. She's supposed to call the election and she said she's waiting on the master to touch her. So what the hell is this? A political leader wait for the master to touch her to call the election. And then 2 weeks ago she come and say the master touch her. So the election is next week, Thursday. That is theocratic. You don't elect a leader in a democratic country to be theocratic. That you can't make a move unless the master touches, so you say. Years ago she was walking around with this pass and she can't lose the election. When the election comes, she loses. And she said she's Nanny spirit, Marcus Garvey spirit, and she's an African descendant and all these things. And they wonder what the hell is this? These people with this mindset are project this for the people them. And still I tell the people themselves them is African conscious. In Jamaica where we come from, most of the people them who adopt Christianity, who fight for the liberation and slavery. Even though them find themselves as deacons of churches, but they was using the church to organize the slave them because that was the only place black people could attack in the church. So you have people like Paul Bogle who was a deacon. You have people like Sam Sharp in Jamaica who was a deacon too. These men, as a matter of fact, most of the gospel songs out of America, it's not gospel songs about the coming king. It's about liberation and movement. When you hear an Africaner sing certain songs, it's a mask he might use because the only place he could express himself is in the church. And he use the church as a